Welcome to the Protagonist Pub. My name is Tammy, and this is where characters gather. Okay, September's book club review. For September, the book club choice was The Secret in the Bookcase by Ellie Alexander. It is the first book in her new series. And I believe when this video comes out, there are at least three published, if not four. I think the fourth one comes out the last week of September. So this week when I'm filming it. And this is a cozy mystery. And Ellie Alexander writes two other series. One is about a brewer, one is about a baker. I have read at least one book in both of those series and enjoyed them immensely. So I was very much looking forward to a new series by Ellie that I could start and not be so far behind. Okay, so it is set in Northern California. And our heroine is, I believe, Annie. And she works in the bookstore in town. And it's a small town. It's called Redwood Grove. And the bookstore business is failing. And so Annie thinks up of holding a book festival in town, celebrating all things mystery, but in particular, all things Agatha Christie. Her boss, aka the owner of the bookstore, who is an elderly gentleman, thinks this is a great idea. All of that is great. I really enjoyed the book festival stuff. I thought it was inventive and unique on how she did it, because it went from inception all the way through execution versus, hey, there's an established book festival and our characters are going to go to it. In this case, it was, I thought of it, I planned it, I'm executing it. There are problems with some businesses in town participating. That was all great. What wasn't great was Annie, the protagonist. So her best friend in college, days before graduation, is murdered. And it was approximately 8-10 years ago. And Annie is still going through PTSD for that. And it was wickedly out of place. I don't know how else to describe this. She keeps a picture of her best friend and her by her bed so that every morning she wakes up to said memories and reinforces the trauma. And the slightest thing can send her into PTSD. And there is a line between grief and just, it's like I don't want to say she enjoyed it, but you get that feeling that the bad memories and the terror and the trauma and the guilt and all that stuff she's feeling is so comfortable she doesn't want to move on from it. It was annoying. It wasn't believable. And overall, I just didn't like Annie as a character. And in the end, right as the murderer is being revealed, which, by the way, wasn't really a surprise to anyone, the business owner in town that has been antagonistic towards her the entire time and who the entire book she doesn't get along with, and they just have these not uncomfortable, but they're not pleasant interactions. And all of a sudden, they're holding hands at the end of the book, and she feels something. I'm like, wait, what? Wait, why? Huh? it was just cringe. Don't know a better word for it. It was cringe. And this is the first Ellie book that was bad. I gave this a 2 on Storyograph. The publishing info was nice. The book festival stuff was nice. But if you took away those 2 elements, the rest of the story was just subpar, annoying, and to be perfectly honest, if this hadn't been a book club read, and if I hadn't DNF'd the August choice for book club, I probably would have DNF'd this really early on, because you knew that this was going to be one of those high anxiety, low payoff, uncomfortable interaction stories, and it was. I will not be continuing the series. I will continue the 2 other Ellie series. I enjoy those characters. They're much more mature. They're much better written, and the dialogue in those books is not cringy and not just borderline. Not borderline. I did not care about these characters. Am I glad I read it? Yes. Does it knock out a bunch of, potential cozies sitting there waiting for me that now I know I don't have to read? Absolutely it does. So I'm happy about that. I will recommend Ellie Alexander for her bakery series and for her brewer series. Those are both great. Those both have good characters. I especially love the brewery series. That is an older protagonist, and I just really enjoyed that series. This one, no, not so much. Will not pick it up again. So, did you read The Secrets in the Bookcase? Are you continuing the series? Did you enjoy it? Leave a comment down below, like and subscribe, and I will see you here next month at the Protagonist Pub.